The truth is, owning your own business is not always glamorous. People may look at my post on Facebook or watch what I'm doing, and there's so many exciting things happening. There's so many amazing opportunities God is opening up for me to speak, to coach private VIP clients, to grow my membership, to do so many amazing things. My website was just named top 100 websites for writers, and so much is happening. But we often compare our bloopers to someone else's highlight reels. Have you heard that quote before? And many times you don't see what's going on behind the scenes. And I want to not only show you the successes and the great things and the exciting things happening, but I also want to be honest that it's not always easy and it's not always glamorous. But I was thinking about it this week, and I was thinking how it's been quite an interesting journey for CJ and I. Many of you already know it was in 2011 I officially resigned my physical therapy job. It was when the economy was still really struggling, and most people were just like, why are you resigning a job that you earn a really good income? It's a good job. You enjoy your job. I didn't hate my job. I mean, I liked my job. Why are you doing this? And not only that, but we took off in a little RV. We rented out our house and we went on the road to go speaking and sharing what we felt God had put on our hearts. A couple years after that, God asked me to take another big leap. I sensed God asking me to take another big leap that to me was even bigger than the first. And that was to actually let go of my plan B. Have you ever had a plan B? I had my plan B, and I wanted, in a way, some financial security, some more stability. And my plan B was always, I could go back and work as a physical therapist. And I would tell CJ, I'll only work temporary on call. And I kind of was justifying it. I'll just work on the weekends, or I'll work on call, or I'll get a part-time job. But CJ was like, Shelly, that just feels like going backwards. And yet I kept thinking about it regularly, about my plan B. So it was a couple years ago, I just had this sense that, it was time. I either needed to renew my physical therapy license and transfer it to Colorado after we had moved here, or let it go. I sought counsel, I sought prayer. I mean, it was months making this decision. We sought wise counsel at our church. It was confirmation through scripture. CJ and I talked about it, prayed about it. I wrestled with God over this, because to not renew my physical therapy license meant I would never be able to be a physical therapist again unless I took the licensure exam. And it was hard enough to pass the first time. Like, I didn't pass by a lot the first time. And so I knew I was giving it up. And today the illustration came to me that it was almost like we were a ship and we had set off for this journey, but we still had an anchor. And that anchor was my plan B. It was that physical therapy career that I had so much respect from people from that career. It was my identity. It was who I was. It was what I had worked so hard for. And yet it was time to let go. But your anchor may be something else. It may be something else you know you need to do, but it is so hard. It may be to have a conversation with someone that you need to have that conversation, but you just don't want to. And that's the anchor holding you back. Or maybe there's something else that you need to let go of, an obligation. There's something that's holding you back. When I obeyed and I let that go and I let go of my plan B, it was as if that ship could then sail to the next destination. It was like I had let go of that thing that was holding me back. And I get chills just talking about it even today. I was moving forward it was the unknown. I mean, we had a basic understanding of where God was taking us, but today I see it so much more clearly. What God is doing today would not have been possible, I believe, if I would not have taken that step. And it was hard. I grieved. I mean, I literally cried when I made that decision and gave up my physical therapy license because I worked so hard for it. It's like, God, no one's going to understand. And you may not even understand listening to this right now. Why would you ever do that? I can't tell you except that I had confirmation after confirmation that that was the step that I was to take. And I really believe that in the last couple years, we've had really hard financial times. We've made it. In the last 2 years, we've had a lot of days I didn't know where the money was going to come for gas or groceries, or we would get money in PayPal, and my husband would go and get a pack of gum at the store so he could take on the PayPal credit card so he could get money back and then deposit it in our other account because bills were coming out. I mean, that's the kind of life we've lived. And it's been so difficult and so uncertain that I really think that if I would have kept that plan B open, if I would have had my physical therapy license in Colorado, I really think I would not be doing what I'm doing today. And I see almost every day God's fingerprint on what He is doing through my life to help empower others to live their calling and to shine their gifts for what God has called them to do. And it is an amazing journey. Has it been hard? Oh yes, so very hard. Has it been worth it? A resounding yes. It has been worth it. So if you're in that place where you're in that tough place where that anchor is holding you back, I want to encourage you to really seek counsel, to pray, to get confirmation. But once you know that that's what God has called you to do, let go of the anchor. Being directed by God, once you know it's where you're to go, let go of that anchor so you can sail. And if you're in a place where it's just hard and tough and you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, you don't know where you're going to get the money for the next day, I want to share this verse with you from Galatians 6:9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. I really am starting to see this year a harvest of all of this hard work. I mean, it has been hard work. And building a business is not easy. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. But we can, especially, like we've already talked about, when God has directed our steps and this is what He's called us to do, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. So I encourage you today to let your light shine and let God use your life in amazing ways. I never, ever would have thought that I would be doing what I'm doing today, coaching and helping authors, speakers, and entrepreneurs shine their light for Jesus and help people publish books, give birth to dreams. I would have never thought I would be an author of over 40 books. I never even dreamed of writing a book. But God. We can make plans, but God is the one that directs our steps. Let Him direct your steps. It's not always easy. It's not always glamorous, but if this is what God has called you to do, and it's not out of your flesh, it's not out of self-sufficiency, it's not out of pushing, trying to put a round peg into a square hole. If it's what you're called to do, what you're supposed to do, it will be worth it. And whatever the harvest is, it may not always be financial, but whatever the harvest is, there will be a harvest. And so I encourage you to keep seeking God and continue to obey as He leads you.